10 seconds remaining.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 4, where we have the second game in the best of two between AlbumSheet and House of Gamers. Currently, score stands 1-0 in favor of AlbumSheet, as last game, House of Gamers, well, they had a nice push and a couple of nice strategies going on, but ultimately they just fell a little bit short. Overall, it was a fairly even game, but hopefully they can turn things around here in game number 2. I'm Mike Loris. I have Grandis here also. What do you think House of Gamers actually have to do to change things? Because it seemed pretty even for most of the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just kind of missed their stride as a team. They had like a point where they were always finding these initiations on the AlbumSheet, always getting the kills, but they just never transitioned that into a tower push. And I think that's partially due to the team composition. They just didn't have very good pushing heroes, and maybe they'll look to change that a little bit. But also they kind of slowed down in the aggression. Like at about 20 minutes in, House of Gamers consistently found those blink ganks on the AlbumSheet, getting some pretty high priority targets. But when you're up against a Midas Medusa, especially, unless you break high ground, there's always a chance the enemy team is able to come back after one team fight, and that's exactly what happened.
Alright, so we're going to see Death Prophet being banned out this game, as that gave AlbumSheet quite a bit of control over the last one. I mean, they didn't have the most perfect Death Prophet game in the world, but at the end of the day, exorcism is exorcism, and if you don't have an answer to that, and there aren't very many in the game, you're going to be very heavily punished. Even AlbumSheet, wow, throwing House of Gamers a bone there with the respect ban of the Necrophos. I don't know if that's completely warranted, but it was, I guess, the most threatening hero from House of Gamers. But yeah, I don't feel like this ban is necessarily the best one for AlbumSheet.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Right now, Brewmaster's still in the pool, as is the Skywrath Mage. And if House of Gamers want to stick with what they got in the first game, the Earthshaker is also available. Although I think running a mid is fairly risky, it kind of worked out for them. I think just as a hero is all around pretty solid and worthy of a first pick if they don't want to go for the other two. But it is going to be a Brewmaster for them, presumably played by Slashstrike.
Yeah, so going to send the Brewmaster mid. Pretty standard stuff there for any team, really. There are answers, of course, for House of Gamers, as they can just slap down the Skywrath Mage and be happy with that, and I don't see any reason why they shouldn't, and they don't see any reason why they shouldn't either. It's going to be the Skywrath Mage picked up right now, so instantly have a 1-to-1 pseudo counter for AlbumSheet, though Brewmaster can always work around that, or generally can work around it. Will be prompted into a BKB in this particular game. Going for a Razor or something like that could also be the option for AlbumSheet, and maybe we're going to see an Ogre Magi thrown in there in the mix as well.
Yeah, I think all of those are pretty fair. I think going for the Razor here for AlbumSheet is probably one of their better choices, but if they just want to knock out their two supports off the bat, that's a pretty solid way to go as well. Skywrath Mage, you can Ogre Magi offer a decent amount of control, good roaming potential. They can play passively as well, zoning out offlaners very effectively, and make good use of farm and levels. For now, AlbumSheet are going to be taking their time with this pick. I think it is just going to be between like Ogre, Razor, and maybe they have something else in mind, but I think those are pretty much the top two.
Axe.
It's going to be an Axe.
That was not even in like the top 50.
Yeah, I don't think it was in the top 50 either. It's kind of just completely out of left field. Axe is a hero that, I don't know, I think he should be seeing a little bit more play than he is, but not in the second picking stage, or second pick overall, excuse me.
Okay, so your AlbumSheet, you just picked an Axe second. Either it's a misclick and you've made a terrible mistake, or you actually have a plan around this hero. What sort of lineup do you think they're going to craft around the Axe? Because you don't pick him up just randomly. You have to build around him.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. At this point, I think their secondary support, it would be wonderful to give them something to sustain the Axe and just let him go completely ham in the early stage, maybe even cutting creeps. Dazzle's available, should they want to go for that. Razor is going to be picked up by House of Gamers, and right now I think they have the more stable heroes. Building a lineup around the Axe, especially this early, is really weird to see. I think House of Gamers can work around this hero very easily.
Yeah, so I'm thinking for AlbumSheet, maybe along the lines of Dazzle, maybe throwing an Abaddon there. Necrophos actually would have been pretty nice if they were going to go for that whole we're just going to ball up and kill you kind of strategy, which is, you know, one of my favorite strategies, killing the enemies. I'm a big fan of that one. Axe, he is inherently an aggressive hero, so if AlbumSheet are not going to be going for super aggressive plays through hero kills or through towers, then they're going to be wasting a lot of potential. Jakiro, I think, should be banned out from House of Gamers. It's not the best, like, combo with the Axe, as in, you know, helping him creep cut or whatever, but if AlbumSheet are playing aggressively, they want to take your towers, and Jakiro is really good at that.
Yeah, definitely. For now, he's not going to be taken out of the pool. It's Vengeful Spirit Tidehunter to be banned out by House of Gamers. Under normal circumstances, I think these are pretty good bans, but coming with an axe, I'm not sure that AlbumSheet would go for it. Magnus taken out by AlbumSheet is fairly interesting. Right now, they don't have anything to really benefit from either the RP as far as teamfight combos, or from the Empower. So maybe thinking they'll go for something along the lines of Medusa, maybe something different altogether entirely, like an Ember Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, it is not really a threatening hero for an axe. Generally, if you're going to be playing an axe at all, you want to make sure that the enemies don't have ranged heroes, don't have lots of spells. Like Brewmaster is perfectly fine as a matchup for axe because if you want to get close from the Brewmaster to land a clap, that's exactly what axe wants. So, you're free to play your game Brewmaster because axe will play his. Magnus and Sand King, I mean, they have definitely annoying crowd control effects for the axe to deal with, but that's pretty much it. So I could understand the Sand King ban. I don't really get the Magnus ban, as the synergy for House of Gamers isn't quite there. A Shadow Fiend is the third pick. I mean, I shouldn't really be surprised at any of these picks from AlbumSheet just because they picked an axe second, but this is a very fragile hero now, so maybe it's just going to be, I don't know, they're going to go full MMORPG on us and have a tank and a damage dealer and a mage.
Well, right now that's exactly what they have, and going for a front line, allowing Shadow Fiend to sit back is, I don't know, decent, but I'm not sure if it's decent enough. Axe is a nice hero, but right now I'm just not feeling any synergy between these three. Ogrim Jai, the pickup for House of Gamers, is going to be an all-around nice support for them, offering the Bloodlust for the Razor, as well as just some nice crowd control effects for the Axe as well as the Shadow Fiend. Since he's in the pool, I don't see a reason why you should avoid him. Shadow Fiend, he's probably going to be up against a Razor, which is the matchup that Shadow Fiend really doesn't like to have up against him. Even though he's a fairly long-range hero, he relies fairly heavily on his right-clicks to get CS, and then Razes and Plasma Field are pretty much evenly matched as far as how fast they can push out the wave. Razes are a little bit better. He should be able to get a decent amount, but he'll be relying fairly heavily on jungle to catch up into this game.
Here we go. Ready for AlbumSheet? They have Shadow Fiend for Presence of the Dark Lord. You go for a Dazzle, and then you go for a Slardar, and then you have a mass minus armor strategy with the Axe counter helix. It's the perfect plan. I see literally no way for House of Gamers to get around that. It'll be perfect. They have 7 seconds to pick up a Dazzle. Damn it.
It's got to be Wraith King, going for a different sort of aura for them. Offering lifesteal to Shadow Fiend is always nice, and I think this is going to be a support Wraith King, but honestly, I'm not really feeling it. Again, it's a nice hero, but it doesn't combine very well with the other three. It's going to give them a nice single target disable, a decent front line for the Shadow Fiend, but that's about it.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very awkward lineup for AlbumSheet. Axe Wraith King actually don't work well together at all. I guess play stun into walk up and starting to hit people is fine, but that's about the extent of it. House of Gamers, I mean, they have a rather vanilla lineup, so we're kind of ignoring that, but they're going to slam the Timbersaw up against the strength heroes of Axe and Wraith King and the inherently fragile heroes of Shadow Fiend, Skywrath Mage. This Timbersaw, I expect, is going to get quite a bit done. We'll have to worry about occasional crowd control effects being thrown his way, calls, Wraithfire Blast, silence from the Skywrath Mage, but that's not really that much for House of Gamers, so they're going to be pretty solid with their heroes. A little bit melee heavy, potentially, up against an Axe could be disastrous, but I think for the most part, they will be able to dodge any problems that arise from that fact.
Yeah, I really like this Timbersaw pick, although the laning phase might be annoying for him with a Skywrath Mage Axe +1 lane. I think he should be absolutely fine, and as you said, the amount of damage he's able to put out into AlbumSheet is going to be ridiculous. Ripping through the front line of the Wraith King and the Axe very fast, and then once he gets into the Shadow Fiend and Skywrath Mage's face, they're not long for this world. The pure damage coming out from Timbersaw is quite honestly insane, especially if we see an Aghanim Scepter built by him. I really like the pick, and I think it's worthy in this game. I'm not sure where they're going to settle down these lanes. I think it depends on what AlbumSheet pickup is their last, whether or not it looks like they're going to go aggressive. As for AlbumSheet's last year, honestly, I have no idea. Silencer, the band from House of Gamers, would have been annoying to play up against, but I'm not sure if that's exactly what they have in mind. 5 seconds, we're going to see this pick sooner rather than later anyway. It's going to be a Nature's Prophet. Again, a kind of nice hero. Doesn't synergize well with the other sides. This could completely change. If the individual play on all of these heroes is amazing, AlbumSheet could run over House of Gamers. But it feels like, I don't know, just the all-around more stable and more synergistic lineup coming out from House of Gamers should prevail.
I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed in AlbumSheet's lineup. Like, if you open up with an Axe pick, I expect to see some crazy shit moving onwards, but Nature's Prophet, Wraith King, like, these are all pretty normal heroes. Shadow Fiend, you know, he's a little bit fringe, but he could still also fit into a normal lineup, so it seems like just a normal lineup from AlbumSheet plus Axe. So, picking this hero up so early, have they built around him? I would say the answer is no. I don't think they even considered Axe much in picking up their other heroes. At least it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, right now it feels like they're picking up heroes more based on what they want to play rather than crafting a good lineup, I think. That's at least my opinion on this draft.
And sometimes that's just what you got to do. Maybe it was a misclick after all. Who knows? That's always, I suppose, a possibility. Who's Axe right next to? I think Pudge. No, okay, so it was probably not a misclick from AlbumSheet. They wanted this Axe really highly, and I think House of Gamers, like, no matter how you slice it, are going to have a couple of advantages in this game. Their lanes are going to be stronger. They have more focused heroes at what they do, and I would say directly, they have a lot more counters. Like, Timbersaw is really good against Wraith King, Axe. Hell, he's good against everyone from AlbumSheet. And AlbumSheet don't have enough lockdown for him. Razor's going to run his lane. Brewmaster should run his lane as well. If House of Gamers mess up the early game, that's the only way I see them not taking an amazing game in this particular one.
Yeah, especially considering how close game number 1 was. I think both of the teams are fairly even when it comes to individual skill, and when that's the case, a lot comes down to the draft. Currently, House of Gamers are taking their time with this last pickup for themselves. The supports that are still left in the pool are fairly limited. They're going to go for the Mirana, although not the first support that I had in mind. If they land an arrow on anybody, it should be a fairly easy kill. They don't have the best setup for it, but Fire Blast and Arrow definitely can work.
Yeah, and it's mostly just to keep the Axe at arm's length. You want to have as many ranged heroes, as many spell casts as you could possibly pick up when you're dealing with an Axe. Mirana is not exactly the best at doing that. Like, if Axe has a stout shield, if he has regeneration, then Mirana's not going to be doing too much damage. Inherently a low damage hero from the get-go. But it's still a ranged hero that combos with the Ogre Magi, so outside of the needing to deal with Axe problem, she will fit very well into the House of Gamers lineup, and they're looking pretty good in this game. As we now load into said game, we have House of Gamers on the Dire now, currently down 1 game, and we'll see if they could make the series another tie in the JDL snore. But anyway, we have Follow Sliz on the Timbersaw. He's going to be following up the rear. Slash Strike is going to be playing the Brewmaster. That leaves Faith in Strangers on the Ogre Magi, a Moment on the Mirana, and Malum on the Razor.
And quickly on AlbumSheet, towards the off lane, we have Afterlife on the Nature's Prophet. Mid lane, Shadow Fiend, played by Chomi. Safe lane is going to be made up of Aloha Dance on the Wraith King, supported by Scarth Mage of No Fear, and it's a Jungle Axe starting out with 2 Stout Shields, played by Sunlight.
Oh, No Fear. He's in potentially a dangerous situation. Arrow will be thrown. It was a pretty good prediction. I think anyone would have made that same throw, but it's actually going to be Aloha Dance who's going to be in the most trouble. They've already used a Fire Blast. Now Razor starting to steal a good amount of damage, but they don't have enough to actually catch up to him. Although Aloha Dance is going to turn around for 2 more Whip Strikes. It's still 20 seconds until creep spawn, so I think Wraith King should just probably go ahead and base. Although No Fear, oh, he's going to dodge an arrow. He's being chased down by pretty much everyone, though. House of Gamers, they really want to start this game off aggressively versus an Axe that could be a little bit risky, but Axe is not in the area, can't get close enough, and he has 2 Stout Shields.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really old school jungling loadout for Axe. I don't know. It definitely can work out, but I'm not sure if this is the game for it. I thought they'd lane this instead of just...
Oh no. Guys. It happened again.
Aw.
No, we're back, we're fine.
Okay, well, dear lord, hopefully these stupid random disconnects, like, it looks fine on my side. I have no idea what's going on. I wish I did. Yeah, currently Axe is just chilling around the jungle. Is going to make his way towards the medium camp. It is the small little Satyrs, which is ideal for an Axe, especially with this double Stout Shield loadout. Can't really ask for a better camp.
Yeah, so
Arrow in mid.
Yeah, Faith in Strangers going to get hit with the Wraith Fire Blast. Not much damage follow-up after that, though. And Ogre Magi versus just a Wraith King Scarth Mage lane is actually going to be pretty durable. It is going to be a core Wraith King and just a pure jungling Axe. So it's definitely not the way I would have expected them to lane this. And, well, they're still trying to go strong onto this Timbersaw. It's picked up level 1 to the reactive. Not really sure if that's the best way to go, as you could probably turn around and fight with something like Whirling Death, but it's going to be Chomi to take an arrow from a moment. And now the slow beatdown from Slash Strike has picked up his passive at level 1, which may have costed them a kill, but not this time, as Shadow Fiend is not a durable hero by any stretch, and one arrow is most certainly going to spell his death for a good portion of this game.
Yeah, a moment is going to make his way towards top now, looking towards Afterlife. If he lands an arrow, he should be able to get a kill. Pretty similar story to what we've been seeing around the map, and just putting as much pressure as you can onto Shadow Fiend is a great way to start things out. And even if the Mirana isn't directly going
Oh, we
for it,
got him.
Afterlife's going to, yeah, going to be sniped by that arrow. Now follow up with the link. Malum should be able to just run him down. Only 2 points. TP attempt coming up for Afterlife. Do they have the damage? They won't. Escapes it back to base at about 50 HP.
Ooh, that was close. That's a level 1 Link. Doesn't drain that much damage that quickly, so it's barely enough to get the Nature's Prophet out of harm's way, but man, next time he has to be really careful. The Mirana has so far fired 2, or actually probably like 4 arrows, has 50% accuracy, but she's hit the arrows when it has counted, and if a moment can keep playing like this, then House of Gamers will just absolutely run the early game, as Axe won't really be able to do too much. With a double stout shield, he's going to be playing presumably extremely passively for a good deal of this game, and well, because of the arrow interference, the Brewmaster is actually not having a great time versus the Shadow Fiend. So the Mirana gank was a lot more needed in this mid lane than I really would have predicted.
Yeah, definitely, and maybe they need to do it again. Shadow Fiend currently at 15 souls, 14 and 5, really picking up in the mid. Brewmaster, although he can push it out decently with the Thunderclap, this is not a matchup that when you get this many souls to start out, that he's really set up to win it all. And now with the bottle running for the Shadow Fiend, will be able to constantly crow that back and forth and also start making a couple of stacks for himself. Currently, one of the camps is blocked. The medium one has been taken out by an Observer Ward of the Dire, making Axe's life a little bit harder. He was forced to clear out that large camp that is now respawning, but he was also forced back to base because of it.
I guess the bad thing about running an Axe jungle with a Shadow Fiend is that, well, first of all, you're running an Axe jungle and your camps are probably going to be blocked, and that's exactly what we see. But also, Axe wants to stack up the hard camp, and he wants to clear that, and that's exactly what Shadow Fiend wants. And there can only be one person to do that at a time, unless your supports are extremely efficient, and that doesn't seem to be the case. So the Shadow Fiend is not going to have that additional stack. It's not really going to bother him too much just because he's doing so well in lane, but usually you do see, at least a double, maybe a triple stack being picked up by Shadow Fiends at one point in the game. They're going to go for the bottom lane though, where Timbersaw is going to get called. Spinning just once, going to be enough to kill off the Timbersaw. Pretty nicely executed gank from AlbumSheet down towards bottom.
And now they're going to transition us into a tower push with Nature's Prophet dropping his way into this lane and the summons them treants, and they should be able to take this tower fairly easily. The counter push coming from HOG isn't very strong, especially at this point in the game. Timbersaw eventually will be able to counter push well once he has Chakram available and a little bit more mana sustain, but right now I think the best that they can hope is to pull the normal creeps off of the lane. They'll open up with a Gigatsu shot onto Faith and Strangers, but I don't think they'll be able to get this kill. They're going to sprout him up, silence him as well. Another Arcane Bolt flying through. They're going to get the call, and Faith and Strangers is going to fall. Spins or not, doesn't actually matter. Just too much lockdown going his way. And with Catapult as well as 3 Treants still available for this tower push, they should be able to take it. Mirana's been throwing arrows towards mid, currently pulling a creep wave behind her to make sure Razor's able to get as much damage as possible on this tower in an absent lane. But at the very least, or at the very most, it's going to be just a trade, and at the worst, it's going to be a tier 1 tower going the way of the Radiant, not towards the Dire. However, with nobody coming towards this Razor's lane with the Catapult, the tier 1 tower is going to fall there as well.
Yeah, it's not exactly the draft that I would have expected from AlbumSheet with this Axe, but they're certainly playing as if they've picked up an Axe. Like, going for a tower push while cutting the creep wave is pretty standard Axe stuff, actually. Like, if you're not going to be landing him in a core role in the mid lane or something like that. So they're making this Axe pick really work out for them, and especially if they can get this Timbersaw jump. It looks like he's going to get silenced and called. Let's see the spins. There's 1. There's 2. Wraithfire Blast just for good measure, and they're going to take the Timbersaw down for a second time. AlbumSheet are destroying this bottom lane, but Chomi in the mid lane might not be as lucky as bottom. He's going to get split upon. There's no chance in hell for him to survive. He's going to go down. Brewmaster using his split for that one. It's a much needed kill for House of Gamers because bottom lane is going so poorly. Even the core Wraith King has picked up Arcane Boots. This is an indication that he's going to be going super aggressively very early on, as we've already seen.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, the Brewmaster, it's kind of expected that he'll get a kill with that first split, but I think what's not expected is that Shadow Fiend is actually slowed down very heavily in the farm. If we saw, like, 3 minutes ago where his farm was, I would not expect him to be 23 and 5 and below the Brewmaster at this stage. Right now, Aloha Dance is pushing very aggressively down in bottom, and they don't have the best heroes to benefit from Arcanes and the Wraith King. Right now, no mana drain. He should be able to get his ultimate off pretty reliably with this, as well as just constantly dropping some Wraithfire Blast. TP in mid from the Skywrath Mage, but it's not gonna really do much. Sitting behind the Shadow Fiend is nice, but it doesn't accomplish more than just at 100 gold spent. Brewmaster is now toting a Blink Dagger. He doesn't have the split for about another minute, but once he does, he could go very aggressively himself.
Speaking of aggressively, we have Sunlight, who's going to be running right behind the enemy tier 1 tower. He's going to find the Ogre Magi and then run away, because Ogre Magi is pretty scary, and he got spotted by the tower as well. But it's going to be a blink in from Slash Strike over towards mid. Does not have a split, but No Fear's in quite a bit of trouble regardless. He's going to try to turn around, just get a little bit more space for his Shadow Fiend. He will give up his life to ensure that Shadow Fiend lives. Pretty worthwhile right there for Skywrath Mage. What a hero. But it is going to be, either way, AlbumSheet now facing up against a Blink Dagger Brewmaster, and this is actually a really fast one. Yeah, he did get a little bit of help from the Mirana very early on, got that kill, but yeah, this is quite a fast Blink Dagger, and when you know you're going to be up against an Axe, the quicker you can initiate upon him with blinks and stuff like that, the better, and it doesn't really get much better than 7 minutes.
Yeah, definitely not. Sunlight is working towards his Blink Dagger as well. Tranquil Boots and the double Stout Shield online. Axe is a pretty fast jungling hero. Wraith King is trying to do his best to jungle, but dropping very low, can't really do much more than he's already done. Pings up on top under the Mirana, rotating in from the Axes. False Nature's Prophet, they'll probably be able to get the Sprout and potentially this kill. Opening up with the Sprout, a moment's stock, will be able to eat through the trees, but blocked by the Catapult. Leap away, might keep herself safe, looking for the call coming out from the Axe. It's not going to be there.
Yeah, unfortunately, those Tranquils not cooperating with you all the time. It's going to lead the Mirana to safety, and I mean, AlbumSheet on paper should be going for these kills, but if it's not going to actually happen, then they're pretty much just wasting their time. Slash Strike does have another split available, and if he sees the Shadow Fiend for only a second, then pretty sure he's just going to go down. However, Loadance is going to teleport in. Going to go now for Faith in Strangers. 1 raise, 2 raise, going to kill off the Ogre Magi. Slash Strike now silenced. They're not going to be able to kill him off without any more disables, and they don't have anything else to throw at him. So they will only get the Ogre Magi, but hey, it's a free kill for them, and are they going to go for a push off of this one? It doesn't seem like they are. I don't know, they took down the bottom lane pretty convincingly, but since then, they haven't really done much of anything with this Axe.
Yeah. I don't know, it seems that they're just waiting for that Blink Dagger to be available, and it's probably a minute or two out before he has that gold for it, just continuously dropping his Tranquil Boots and spinning away in the jungle.
I mean, that's pretty much standard Axe stuff, but the rest of the team, they're farming as well. If they're going to be farming, I think that the Arcane Boots and Wraith King are probably going to be a mistake. You pretty much pick those up so that you sustain the rest of your team, more so than you sustain yourself. They're going to be running in mid, where they're going to be running into an invisible Brewmaster. You can't really plan for that one, so a little bit unfortunate for AlbumSheet, yet they are going to go in regardless. Lohadans really wants in. I don't know if he should want in, though, because he's going to die once, and I think he can die a second time. They have a Fire Blast. Chakrum's going to completely whiff, though, so maybe that's going to buy his escape, although that Timber Chain Whirling Death did quite a number on the Wraith King. Yeah, I mean, if you go that far, you're probably going to die, and now No Fear, he's going to get blinked upon, and he's going to die as well. I honestly have no idea what the hell Lohadance was doing there.
Yeah, there didn't seem to be much of a plan. It's going to be a Dagon build from Nature's Prophet. This feels very much like a pub. Nature's Prophet with the Dagon build. I suppose if they're going to be playing aggressively early on, it's not the worst, and picking off the likes of the Mirana is fairly easy, but they need to be so aggressive and trade better as far as the kills are concerned in order to really make this work out for them. Lohadance is going to get a stun off onto Faith in Strangers. The arrow is going to miss, lands onto a creep, as Faith in Strangers probably is going to be brought down. They need one more raise, can't find it. TP and Dagon will secure the end of Mirana's life, and it's Faith in Strangers to make his way out with the bottom ulti.
Well, I guess it's could have gone a lot worse for House of Gamers, but they now know that the Nature's Prophet has a Dagon. The Axe was still nowhere near that, so it's kind of disappointing from him. The Berserker's Call is one of the best tools at dealing with the Mirana ultimate. If they think they're invisible and safe, they are going to be in for a rude awakening there. So it's going to be one casualty for House of Gamers, and 6-5. AlbumSheet certainly are itemizing as if they're going to be playing very aggressively with the Dagon. With now the Blink Dagger on Axe, this should be about go time for them. They're not going to take any huge leaps of power aside from, you know, maybe the Shadow Fiend getting a BKB or something like that, but he goes for a Hand of Midas. Chomi is not on the same page as everyone else. This is not an item you go for when your Nature's Prophet goes for a Dagon.
Yeah, right now, arrow thrown in mid, going to land into a creep. Blinking from Slash Strike does get the ultimate off despite being stunned up. It is disjointed, going on to No Fear. Will be able to bring him down. Now Sunlight is trying to run away. The Skywrath Mage is still surviving, juking through these Broodlings. It is going to end his life eventually as the Immolation Aura does him in. Now Lohadance is going to be stunned up, caught up without the ultimate available for another 140 seconds. It's going to be 3 clean kills going the way of House of Gamers. Not much more that they could have done. Axe didn't really accomplish anything there, and yeah, House of Gamers, it just looks like they're going to run over them, even though it's fairly even the kills, especially with the Dagon snipe onto the Timber Saw. They need a little bit more than this. Silence going the way of the faith of strangers, but now No Fear needs to be a little bit careful with the blinking Brewmaster on the enemy's side. He's going to eat the crit. No, it's just going to be the arrow to kill him off. TPN, blink forward from the axe, does catch a decent amount of creeps. He's getting spins, and he'll be able to get the ultimate off onto the Mirana. Now stunned up by the Ogre Magi, wants to chase him down. They have the Dagon on the Nature's Prophet, pulling down for 13 seconds. Probably not going to be necessary. Dunk 2 will secure a slash strike, the double kill. And now into the tier 1 tower they're going to push. AlbumSheet need to keep this up, but if they can, it's going to be pretty huge for them. Malum needs to be careful. He's very low. Nature's Prophet TPing in could kill him off, but I'm not sure that they know where he is. Nature's Prophet attempted it, but isn't going to bump into Malum, which is fortunate for House of Gamers.
And this game is just so many layers of messed up. Like blinking axes, a Dagon on Nature's Prophet, constantly like jumping in from behind and snagging kills is really just clowny. And now Dagon 2 on Nature's Prophet. Like, I could understand in some situations having your int hero go for a Dagon just because, you know, you give them a little bit more power in the early game. You artificially extend the quote-unquote early game phase. But now he's going to fully commit into this, and Brewmaster's going to jump in and find the Wraith King. No reincarnation is going to save you there, but yeah, anyway, the Nature's Prophet is going to fully commit to this. You don't go for level 2 Dagon if you're not going to go for level 5, so I don't really know what the plan is here, but I don't know, maybe Ancient Seal Dagon 5 is good, but Ancient Seal is only level 1.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. I think going for level 1 Dagon is something more teams should do. Invis Rune is going to keep Shadow Fiend safe, even though he's a pretty decent amount of damage. He's going to turn for Raise. Steals last hit, but now he's going to walk into an arrow. Chomi, he's screwed. That was not necessary for the Shadow Fiend to die there. He was invis, and then he steals a creep and pays for it dearly. Wraithfire Blast goes in the sidelines onto a moment, but the multicast onto a Aloha Dance is probably going to come off the Dagon onto the Mirana from Afterlife. It's going to secure his death. Aloha Dance is still standing. Silence onto Faith in Strangers, and Slash Strike gets an unstoppable spree by killing off the Skyrath Mage. Chakram bouncing through. They're going to do a decent amount of damage to Sunlight, but the Whirling Death doesn't come out. Now another Fire Blast. Sunlight probably going to fall, but not before dunking the Ogre Magi. Throw up in the air. Not purged down just yet. Will be purged down eventually into a call into all of the Brewlings, but the Timber Chain through will be enough damage. It's a 2 for 4.
And the dead Ogre Magi with the Ignite got the kill, so nice little win there for the Ogre. But so House of Gamers are making use of the fact that AlbumSheet have this really scattered kind of lineup. I mean, we were talking about this in the draft, and it's executing itself pretty much exactly how we expected. Malum is having no part in any of this game. Like, he's working with the Hand of Midas on top lane, he's playing PvE, and Razor, although could be contributing a lot, is going to be a devastating force moving forward because House of Gamers are taking these fights and they're winning with only 4 heroes. They're going to now catch Chomi. This is not a fight that a moment really wants to take without an arrow, so, oh, here comes Faith in Strangers. Never mind, multicast, and suddenly Chomi is going to take a fall. Oh man, nothing that AlbumSheet can really do about that, but still, House of Gamers just finding win upon win, and they are taking a couple towers here and there. There are even on towers, well, I guess now they're 1 tower down as they get to deny, but it's only a matter of time before they actually go for a little bit more as far as the objectives are concerned. I would expect an Aghanim Scepter after this Hand of Midas for Razor.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Right now, Bloodstone is still quite a long ways away for the Timbersaw. He does have the point booster in the Courier, but that's about it. It should still come out at a decent time, and with constant mana in the team fights, AlbumSheet are just going to be ripped to shreds. Whenever you can isolate somebody like the Axe of the Wraith King, bringing them down is a very easy task. No Fear going to bump into Faith in Strangers as well as a moment. Multicast and an Ignite should secure his death, if nothing else. Ogre Magi is going to secure that one. Didn't really need a moment there. Double damage onto Sunlight. He's going to bump into 2. He does get the call off onto a moment. Now looking for the dunk. He is going to be stunned up and leap away from the run. My Keeper safe. One more spin. Looking for it. Can't find it. No detection on the ground. And Sunlight TP away from a moment. They need one more auto attack. They're going to find one more auto attack as the Raise does connect. And that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Wraithfire Blast going to creeps, and everybody else is going to make it away safely.
Man, still these supports though from House of Gamers, I mean, they are getting quite a few levels. They're both level 8, I believe, and yeah, level 8 versus the level 5 Skyrath Mage. I guess you could say the Axe is the support, but not really. So I mean, this Mirana Ogre Magi combo is doing quite a bit of work. Sunlight's going to jump in onto Malum. This is a tough kill for him to take, especially with all his support. He's going to cancel his dunk. Malum now going to bottle up right in the face of Axe. Still taking Battle Hunger damage. Brewmaster has already used the split, looking for Afterlife. They need to chop down these trees with Chakram. It's a little bit too late, so the Natured Prophet will survive. But they use the split, they kill the Axe, and they're probably going to take this tower down as well. In the meantime, Skyrath Mage landing an offensive Observer Ward behind this Mirana in the mid lane, yet she still lands an arrow onto Aloha Dance. I don't know how the hell that's possible, but they tag the Wraith King with stun. Now here comes Slash Strike. Will jump right in for Drunken Haste to open things up with the clap as well. Low Dance does have Reincarnation, and I think he's going to have to use it right now, and he will. Slash Strike eating the bulk of a Mystic Flare. Now he's going to face up against the revived Wraith King. They have Faith in Strangers here to help out, though, with the Ignite, with Fire Blast. Will not multi, but I don't even think they need it to multi. Aloha Dance getting way too over-aggressive, and in the meantime, No Fear is going to run into Malam on his attempted retreat. He's going to throw a Concussive, but it's not going to do nearly enough. That's House of Gamers taking a whole bunch of wins. Their top lane being pushed a little bit. Sliz is not going to be able to kill off the Nature Prophet, but he sure will do a lot of damage in response. So it's a whole bunch of wins for House of Gamers. They're getting more farm on more heroes right now, even though the CS is actually not doing too terribly for AlbumSheet. The Razor Brewmaster on the top are just so dangerous, and even the heroes that don't have a lot of net worth, the Ogre Magi Mirana, are doing so much damage. And speaking of, Sunlight getting hit with a 5-second arrow. Rest in peace, Axe. There are so many House of Gamers here that you can't not survive.
Yeah, definitely, and the items that they're building are just less impactful. Axe goes for a Dagon as well, wants to be on that zapping train with the Nature's Prophet, and not to mention Nature's Prophet Dagon. Stun going the way of Aloha Dance in mid, no Reincarnation for 200 seconds, he's just going to be zapped down by Malam, securing the double kill. Blink over to the sidelines by Slash Strike, finds himself nothing. So House of Gamers are now going to push in the tier 2 tower, and even though they have a Shadow Fiend to kind of fall back on, he has a Midas and a Helm of the Dominator. Not even a Helm of the Dominator, it's just the Iron Will at this point. 2,000 gold on top of it.
Yeah. Is the Helm working for him right now? Because it doesn't seem like it is. That did nothing, and now he's going to go for a Force Staff. Helm of Iron Will, Staff of Wizardry, Ring of Regen doesn't build into anything, so I have no idea what the hell is going on in this game. Like, I actually don't know what you even build with Helm of Iron Will as Shadow Fiend. Helm of the Dominator is good on the hero. Not really as a first item, though. Like, I don't really think that's the best way to go. Force Staff, I suppose, isn't bad on Shadow Fiend either, but yeah, I think they need better items than that. Afterlife is going to try to snap off the Mirana in the back end, but he will fail. Now he's up to that level 5 Dagon, level 4 Dagon, sorry. He will get that one, but it's not really doing that much for him anymore. He's not finding his picks, and it's actually going to be a smoke from AlbumSheet. Slash Strike has a split. He's going to jump right into No Fear and Sunlight. This Skywrath Mage is so screwed. Axe is going to blink up to the high ground. Actually, no, he just blinked over to the right. Yet, I don't think that's going to secure his escape. Timbersaw is stuck on the high ground for a little while longer, but Multicast is going to slow down Sunlight. Are you going to turn around and man fight Axe? If you're just going to run, then why pick Axe? You got to man up, bro. He's going to actually get a lot of room. And he will go down to the end, as actually they snagged the Razor up on top lane. So I guess Shadow Fiend, Helm of Iron Will doing some work up there with the help of the Dagon. But it's still going to be a 2-for-1 for House of Gamers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, now that you bring it up, I'd love to see an Armlet on Shadow Fiend. I think it's underrated to get Armlet on not strength heroes, although you don't get the extra as much damage as our strength heroes. Or heroes that are strength, excuse me. It's still a nice survivability item, and in the mid game it can be really strong, but I don't think this is the game for it. You pretty much have to be snowballing already in order to go for it, and although AlbumSheet are building like they aren't.
Yeah, the snowball is actually going the other way. We have a Timbersaw with 10 Bloodstone charges. He has a Staff of Wizardry. If he goes for a Force Staff, Helm of Iron Will, I'm down with that. He's going to find Aloha Dance, and this Wraith King still a whole minute away from his reincarnation. He didn't even stand a chance right there. One Fire Blast just to lock him up. And then that's going to be yet another kill for House of Gamers. They're going to look towards the bottom lane. Slash Strike is 40 seconds off of a split, but this tower is not long for life. Maybe they get a tower push on the top lane in response. It doesn't really seem like it, though, because Treants, although they're good, you need heroes behind them. They're going to initiate down on bottom. Slash Strike will not be able to split because he doesn't have it up, but he will force the silence out for No Fear, and then Timbersaw is going to clean up in the back end. Faith in Stranger's getting hit with the Dagon. However, he will survive as Afterlife does TP out. One more raise from Chomi will miss. He just needs one more right click. That's literally all he needs. The Axe is going to swoop in and will help secure the kill. Now, the Timbersaw is actually in quite a bit of trouble because he doesn't have any mana. He's going to jump down to the low ground. He's going to turn around and he's going to try to kill off Chomi. This is awfully bold from the Timbersaw. Here comes the Nature Prophet. He's going to miss his escape, but an arrow comes in onto Chomi. There's one too many AlbumSheet heroes. I really don't know why the Timbersaw stuck around there, but he made his decision. It's a Veil of Discord Shadow Fiend. Are you kidding me? What is going on in this game? I just have no idea.
To be fair, I think Veil is better than Armlet this game. Arrow misses onto Chomi coming out from Moment. Force Staff over the trees. Chomi might survive throughout this if the jukes are real. And they might be. I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous. I honestly don't know what to think. I really don't.
Like, if they were going to go for a huge magic amplification kind of game, you probably don't want to pick up Axe. You probably don't want to pick up Wraith King, who, speaking of, is getting gone upon by the Timbersaw. He's going to buy himself a little bit more space, but one Timber Chain Whirling Death, and there goes his reincarnation. He waited so long for that spell to come back, and now he's just going to lose it and his life a second time. Although Timbersaw with the Dagon Blast and the Mystic Flare, well, he's going to go down, but he takes this Wraith King down with him. Oh, man. Okay, top lane, Chomi's messing with Malum still, but looks like nothing's going to happen there. But yeah, these heroes are not really the type of heroes for AlbumSheet if they want to run this magic amplification plan. Skywrath Mage is nice, but everyone else just doesn't fit in. Nathan Strangers is going to walk right into 4 heroes, but here comes Slash Strike. Will get interrupted out of his split because of the call, but I don't really think that's going to matter because he will get the split off regardless. Nathan Strangers is going to walk right next to Sunlight, multicast him and get the kill. No chop there. Now No Fear will not be able to kill off Nathan Strangers. 80 HP rather for the Ogre Magi. He will survive. Now looking towards Afterlife with the Rock and Ignite. Afterlife is almost doomed to fall. They also get a courier kill for free. Oh my god, AlbumSheet are just falling apart at the seams. Granted, they weren't really well put together to begin with. House of Gamers take a 3-for-0 exchange.
Yeah, that was ridiculous to watch. Ogre Magi was just casually sitting around with 20 HP, helps his team get a courier, drops a couple more Fire Blast Ignites on top of it. There's just not a great way for HOG to lose fights. I don't know, it's really hard, and they have to be completely out of position. Veil dropped up top as well as one raise into the Razor, but it doesn't mean anything. Lowhead ends currently inside the jungle. No reincarnation available, is going to be dropped down. If by nothing else, the right click's coming up from the Rana. It's going to be Ogre Magi to secure that last hit.
Wraith King has picked up Arcane Boots like 15 minutes ago and hasn't gotten a single item since. Chomi on top lane is going to get initiated upon and brought down by Brewmaster Razor combo. Oh, mid lane, they actually jump in and kill off the Ogre Magi in the meantime, but yeah, this Wraith King is, if you look at him, you would not imagine that this guy was laned in a quote-unquote core role because he has absolutely nothing going for him. He's been killed off pretty much every single time he's respawned, instantly snaps back off. But either way, House of Gamers, they make the Aghanim Scepter on the Razor being put to good use. They take down a tier 2 tower up on top, and then, well, Eye of the Storm not going to be up for another 30, but it should be a matter of time before they take that one down. Honestly, I don't see AlbumSheet coming back for this. I mean, their entire lineup and itemization, or I guess mostly their itemization, is built to be dominating this portion of the game. That's what Dagon is for, but it's not doing anything because they're always getting picked off.
Yeah, right now they need to stop bleeding heroes and maybe look for more picks, but at this point, even in kills is behind what AlbumSheet want to be doing, and they're significantly behind. Currently, a huge advantage going the way of HOG with over 10,000 in the gold. Jumping from Axe, finds 3 inside the Roach Pit. He's not spinning enough, however. Slash Strike is going to fall before he gets off the split. Malum gets a last hit and is going to save him from the Axe's slow. Now linking towards Sunlight, will be able to get that kill, and Timbersaw's just doing too much damage. They'll be able to bring a double kill, only losing their poor Brewmaster that, unlucky enough for him, was focused down. This is going to be an Aegis going the way of HOG in a 3-for-1 trade. Nature's Prophet up on the high ground, going to be pursued by SLHG, drops a Dagon 5, but that's about all that Afterlife can do. Now slowed by the Atos, arrow to land as well as a Chakram. That's going to be another freebie going the way of House of Gamers. I can respect that AlbumSheet are just going to continue to have fun this game, but this is pretty sad to watch.
Yeah, this is like ultimate pub game status right here. Like throwing themselves in, Axe getting a 3-man call is pretty much like the ideal. It probably doesn't get much better than that realistically, so I mean, that was a pretty nice opening for AlbumSheet on paper, but they just don't have heroes that could actually do anything after that. Like, yeah, sure, you drop a Mystic Flare, you kill off a Brewmaster, you don't have to worry about split. Hooray, that's fantastic, but yeah, they don't have any right clicks, like, at all. Shadow Fiend should on paper, but going for the classic Veil of Discord Force Staff build is going to mean that he's pretty much hitting for nothing. And Chomi, if he gets into a man fight, can't win either. I think he's going for an Ethereal Blade next because that would only make sense, but I don't really think that item build works, especially with Sliz running right into him. They're going to catch Moran in the meantime, but Chomi, he's going to try to fight with this Timbersaw, and there's a Rod of Atos, so Chomi's going to try to force staff down to the low ground. He will make it. There's no trees that you could jump down to as Timbersaw in this area. He's now on the run from Afterlife, but Afterlife has already used his Dagon. The more time you wait and run away with, the more time he has to cool down. Boots of Travel is going to get denied from the Razor. Here comes the wreck. That did literally nothing, but they're going to catch Blizz regardless. Chakram going to slow down Sunlight, but here comes the concussive Wrath of Nature. Not going to do it. It's going to be a forced suicide out. Now they're going to find No Fear, however. They're going to dust just for good measure, and Slash Strike going to beat down No Fear. That's 1. Are they going to get 2? It looks like everyone else is going to escape, although a long-range Ignite onto Sunlight He needs a blink out, but Ignite slowly burning, now stuck in the trees. He's stuck without hope. Arrow's going to connect just to add insult to injury. Another kill going for House of Gamers, 21-38. And hey, Aloha dances here. That's probably not where you want to be, Wraith King. He still just really wants his Blink Dagger, I think. Maybe it's going to be Dagon for him, but he gets multicasted and now he's dead again. Oh wait, no, he's not dead. He has Reincarnation. What? Now he's dead. There we go. 39-21, and this game is looking all but over.
Oh my goodness, the flames are starting to come out from inside the team, and it's just not pretty. I don't know, AlbumSheet, they're having fun with this game, and that's okay, I suppose. I don't know, it just seems that they're not taking it very seriously at all.
And that's fine, but if you're not going to take it seriously, then why pick up all the heroes after that axe? Like, shit, if you're going to have fun, you might as well just go all out and just try some extremely cheese strat, and instead of just, like, taking this half measure of axe as your fun pick and then a whole bunch of really standard heroes, because, I don't know, Wraith King, he's just, like, beating and not doing anything. I don't think that's fun. Like, that's not fun.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. I mean, I'd love to see something like this work. I think there's a time and place for these kind of quote-unquote pub-stompy lineups. In certain situations, they can do the trick, but I don't think this is one of them. Afterlife forced to TP out while he's next to his tier 4 towers. That's not a pretty picture. Jump in from Sunlight, and with the Dagons, they're doing a lot of damage in the Slash Strike since he did pop the BKB, but now he gets the split off, and it just doesn't matter. Buyback from the Axis is pretty much AlbumSheet's last stand. Aghanim Scepter on the Razor is going to start working into these melee. Barracks' Nature's Prophets chased back into the base just by these Brewlings. He needs to get back, or just make himself safe, as he is fairly low in his normal form, but they're going to take the first lane of Barracks, and I don't think that AlbumSheet's lineup is equipped and combat against this, but they'll probably get another pick up onto Malum, or will they? They will be able to get the Aegis at the very least off the Razor. Timber Chain through from SLHC is going to be enough to kill off, excuse me, one more, and now they find themselves a multicast. Chomi trying to channel his ultimate, obliterates the Ogre Giant. Now man fighting up against Slash Strike, but with the Lich, he can't do enough. Slash Strike is tanking the tier 4 towers, but the evasion should be enough. Will he die? Invis is going to be fine, and it looks like GG's called out by No Fear, and that about sums this up. Yeah, I think at the end of this game, AlbumSheet, they went for something a little bit out of the ordinary, and I'd love to see something like that work, but given the situation that they were in, the decisions that they made for item choices aren't game-winning item choices. Hopefully they had fun with it, though.
Yeah, this game is clowny as hell. Being retarded is a talent. Oh, man. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for this Best of 2 series. House of Gamers take game number 2. Honestly, wasn't really too difficult for them, as AlbumSheet didn't really have much going at all at any stage of the game, but it's going to be yet another tie, 1-1 in the JDL Season 4, but that's going to be it for us, guys. If you enjoyed the cast, be sure to hit that follow button. Twitter.com, Facebook.com/HeflaTV is where you can find more of us. The VODs will be up, the VODs will be up on YouTube.com/HeflaMug soon enough. I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Grandis, and I don't know if you have any words to end this, because there are no words to end this, but if you do, now's the time to say them.
No, I really don't. I don't think there's anything that I can say to close this out. Thanks for watching, though, and hopefully you'll have some more Dota coming up shortly, but for now, that's it.
Alright, guys, later.